Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. But it doesn't matter. Because the people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. And you're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. And instead of liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are.
It's funny because I used to view it as kind of like a sad thing and something that I would reminisce on a lot. And the funny thing is, it's not like I was necessarily happy with my old life. I was just comfortable. And your new life and the person that you are becoming is going to ask a lot out of you. It's going to make you go through those uncomfortable times and kind of take apart everything that you've built up for yourself and this person that you've created. And it's going to challenge that. It's going to challenge every single thing that you thought you knew. And even though it was comfortable, it was just no longer serving me. And I couldn't stay in that stagnant feeling. Us as humans, we are striving for this comfortability, to feel comfortable, even if it is no longer serving us. We want to feel safe. We want to feel secure because we love the feeling of comfortability, because we want to feel safe. It's so easy to get stuck. Till we let go of, people, places, and things, habits, relationships that no longer serve us, we will always feel stuck. We will always feel in that loop. And, usually we fear that first step. Usually we fear change. And I was listening to this podcast, and I forget exactly who said it, but they had made up an acronym for fear. And it was that fear is false evidence appearing real. And basically what this is like sometimes we just make up this false narrative, or we just create this story of how we think it's going to go, and it usually has a negative tint on it. And that's why we kind of get stuck in that analysis paralysis. That's kind of why we do fear change. But the thing is, we're always kind of striving for new. We are always trying to manifest and bring these things into our life now. And the only way that you can bring those things in is if you let go of things that no longer serve you, so that you have the space to hold what you're manifesting. And my mentor says this, and it's basically imagine that you have a storage unit. And if you're putting all of these things in a storage unit, there's going to be a time that storage unit is going to become full, and you are no longer able to bring anything else in. That's kind of how you have to look at your life sometimes. And the only way that you can bring more in is if you remove things. And sure, there's things that come into our lives for a select amount of time, and it serves its purpose, but we're not always able to just cling and hang on to it just because it felt good in that time. We want to flow. We want to, you look at the seasons around us. Look at trees. During the summer and spring, they're blooming and they have all of these, it's all so green, it has all these leaves. But during the fall and the winter, it's shedding, and it's that cycle over and over and over. And so we have to almost ask ourselves, why are we always trying to cling on so hard to things that sometimes are only meant to be there for a season? And the thing is with change is that you can fear it, but change is inevitable. Change is always happening around us, small or big. The reason why we feel like we're in a loop, I feel like it's because we're doing a lot of the same things. We're waking up and eating the same things, and we're going to work and we're driving the same ways, and we're always hanging around the same people and going to the same places. And so you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And the thing is, you would think that doing it so many times, you would realize that it's not changing anything, that you're always getting the same result. There's that quote with Albert Einstein that's doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result is literally the definition of insanity. So like, and it brings me to another quote that goes, to get something that you've never had, you have to do something that you've never did. And that's the thing. And we have that chance every single day. Like, we all have 24 hours. Every single one of us has 24 hours. And especially if you're young, you don't have as many responsibilities of, like, say, when you get older and you have kids and you're trying to provide for a family. Like, when you're young, you have that opportunity of not having so much responsibility for anybody else outside of you. And time waits for nobody. Time waits for nobody. And I realized that just because of how long I waited to start my channel, like, I'm like, wow, like, I really could have just took that leap 2 years ago and maybe had a bigger audience and would have been connecting with way more people by now. And I also believe that, like, everything happens for a reason, but it just also did teach me in that exact same lesson that time waits for nobody. You know, and I always was watching, you know, self-improvement videos, and I was always in that almost analysis paralysis, and you learn the most by doing it. And I can say that from taking that leap and doing it. Like, the lessons that I've learned from doing YouTube, no video could have taught me, if that makes sense. Like, sure, it can prepare you and you can kind of have an understanding of what you're getting yourself into, but doing it, no matter what you're doing, is always going to be the biggest teacher. All of us want new. Like I said, like, all of us are trying to manifest something, but what comes with the new is uncomfortability, fear, doubt. But at the end of the day, those are just feelings. Those are just emotions. And we have a lot more control over our emotions than we realize, because it truly is mind over matter. Like, you could be in the gym and you can be working out and you're pushing and you're getting close to that breaking point and your body's telling you to stop, like, let's put down the weight, and your mind is telling you one more rep. So anytime that you're in that position where you have those feelings coming up again, you can kind of train your brain to say, okay, I'm feeling these, or you can train your body to be like, okay, I'm feeling these emotions. It's okay, this is temporary, and it's only going to make me grow and get to where I want to be. So a lot of the times you have to work with yourself, and this is why I say, like, repetition. Like, the more and more you do it, the less those emotions, it's not like those emotions won't be there, that's not what I'm saying, but you will learn to kind of feel them and let them run through you, and instead of just letting them stop you and make you feel stuck. You learn to kind of be in more flow and kind of almost control your emotions, that you kind of start working with them instead of having it feel like they're so against you. And for me, like, I've experienced in the past when I was kind of having those feelings of reminiscing, feeling like the best was behind me, like that it really was the good old days. Our emotional side of things is always going to be different than our logical side of things. You know, like, sometimes you can be so deep in these emotions and in these feelings that you're not really thinking right. Like, you're kind of just in it, and because you're so in it, you can't see the bigger picture or the bigger perspective of it. And so that's kind of where I was until I really kind of took a step back from it and was like, this doesn't make any sense. I really had to shift my beliefs, and this is kind of where, like, affirmations can play a big key into it, especially with repetition, that I kept telling myself, no, like, that is a limiting belief. You know, like, we have bigger, better, brighter things in front of us if I just let myself go after it. If I stop being the one in my own way, you know, and that is with repetition. And then that old limiting belief is kind of on the back burner. It's kind of whispering sometimes in the back of your head, but the big belief of, no, like, the best is yet to come was so loud in my head that I was like, I have no choice. Like, my success is inevitable. And the more you say that to yourself, and the more you practice, and the more you take actions of things that align with those beliefs, your subconscious mind sees you doing that. Also, when you start having these beliefs, I feel like it makes a shift in your vibration, in your energy, and then you generally start receiving more. Like, you're in this more feminine, receiving mode, just by shifting the way that you view things, just by shifting your beliefs. Like last year, like in 2023, like I had a lot of paradigm shifts. I did a lot of internal work, and one thing that 2023 really made me realize is that yes, letting go and detachment is hard, but hanging on is harder. And I was sick and tired of hanging on to things that especially do not serve me, that have already fulfilled its purpose, and it was time to let go. And so with that being said, in 2024, like I'm no longer doing that. And at the time of filming this, it's July 3rd, I believe. And we're halfway through this, you know what I'm saying? And like, I already have seen so much growth, but like job's not done, job's not finished. And I made a promise to myself early 2024 that I was no longer going to stay in my comfort zone, that I was no longer to hang on to people, habits, and things that just no longer served me. And I encourage all of you guys to do the same, because you feel so much lighter, you feel so much freer and able to actually make space for the things that do serve you, the people that do serve you, that are in the things that are meant to attract to you, the things that are meant to be in your life. Because if you're not letting go of that, you're not going to make space for that new life. So sure, it's hard to let go. I never said it was gonna be easy, but from experience, it's harder to hang on. You owe it to yourself to really make space for the things that you deserve and what is supposed to serve you. I made a promise to myself at the beginning of the year to do more of what scared me and to get out of my own way and to become the woman that I always envisioned for myself, that I just never let, because I was too afraid to be seen, or I was afraid of what other people, family, were going to think of me. And it's not worth it. You know, we have 100 years on this planet if we're lucky, and I just choose to take my power back. And so with that being said, like, let's be more intentional about the things that we do on a daily basis, and let's have the courage to actually go after what we want in life. That's what you at least owe to yourself. Just thank you for taking your guys' time to watch this video. I hope that this helped. Please let me know in the comments that if anything in this video resonated with you. Please go ahead and click the like, share, comment, subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one.